Watrous built and scaled multiple companies. He survived a near burnout after 170% growth, and he now helps other leaders escape the chaos he once lived. Mr. Will Watrous is an EOS implementer, and he brings battle-tested clarity and alignment to teams ready to grow with purpose. He joins me. I'm Robert Plank. This is the Marketer of the Day podcast. We're powered by dfypodcast.com, where real conversations replace tech overwhelm. But and the myth, the legend, the star of the hour today, or that half hour or 20 minutes, is Mr. Will, who's going to tell us about this amazing framework that he uses and implements called EOS. We might touch on alignment, accountability, leadership, growth, so many other things. We'll have a fun time. So, Mr. Will, glad to be speaking to you and to see you.
I love it, Robert. Thank you. Great to be with you. And yeah, that's great. I love that. The star of the 20 minutes. So
yeah, we'll have to turn that into something. Yeah, work on some kind of branding. And so there's this thing called EOS, which some of us have heard, and I've sometimes stumbled across the articles, the YouTube videos. I haven't read the book Traction, but my understanding is that Entrepreneurial Operating System is a simple, practical framework that helps business owners and leadership teams get clear on where they're going and how to get there with vision, traction, and health. It's a set of tools and principles that bring clarity, structure, and results. So I wanted to just get that set up, set the table in case like, oh, EOS, what's that? And you're an EOS implementer, but enough about me, enough about that. We're here to focus on you and what has you excited. So what does have you excited? What's your current focus and passion?
Right. Well, you nailed it. That's what EOS is. My current focus and passion is centered on helping other companies right now implement EOS. So I actually still own a company passively now, and I feel like the cat that got the canary, honestly, because I own a company. I don't run it. I don't operate it. I meet with the CEO once a month. We run through financials. It's very successful, very profitable, and it's that way because it runs on EOS. I got it running on EOS a few years ago. And that set me on this mission to help other entrepreneurs and other business leaders experience that kind of freedom, that where your business isn't owning and running you, you are owning and running a business. And so I'm on a mission to help as many entrepreneurs as I can realize their entrepreneurial dreams. My path has taken me the EOS path. It's proven, I know it firsthand, and there's like 30,000 other companies right now working with EOS implementers around the world implementing EOS in their businesses. So it's kind of a big deal. And so I'm just part of that mission to create more entrepreneurial freedom, help business owners and leaders create the impact and the success that they are hungry for.
Very nice. Well, it's an exciting time to be alive, and it sounds like you've accomplished so much. Like you've accomplished the dream, as you say, right? Like there's that real fear that you build yourself another job when you start a business, and that it pays less and it's more work than actual employment. Plus, you have all these bosses, all the stress, and who wants that, right? We want what you've accomplished, where it's organized, it's systematized, you have things put in place, and you can sort of steer the ship. But for the most part, it's just this automatic machine that runs without you. And so how's that possible? What's EOS come down to, and what sort of magic do you apply?
Well, I love what Sam Carpenter said. He wrote a book called Work the System. And in that book, he said, which is a wonderful book, highly recommend it, but he said that your business is nothing more than a dispassionate collection of systems. Your business is no more than a dispassionate collection of systems. And EOS is a system. It's a way of operating a company so that, number one, the vision is crystal clear. Everyone's on the same page. We all understand where we're going and how we're actually going to get there. Number two, you're gaining consistent traction toward that vision. Wherever you look in the company, people are executing on that vision. Everyone's accountable and disciplined and moving forward toward realizing that. And then number three, your team is healthy. They enjoy the work that they do. They enjoy the people that they're around. They actually function as a cohesive, healthy, functional team. And EOS is just a simple set of tools, a process, nothing new under the sun, right? So these are ideas that have been around for 100 years, will be around for 1,000 more years. No silver bullets, no magic pills. But the beauty of EOS is that it's incredibly simple and that it is a proven process. It's packaged, so it's very prescriptive, actually. How do you implement EOS in a company? And it's industry agnostic, meaning that it sits below your area of expertise. So it doesn't matter if you run a law firm or a construction company. This is how you run the business. So EOS isn't something you do in addition to all of the stuff you do. It actually is fundamentally how you do what you do. And that's an important insight, I think, Robert, because a lot of business owners spend most of their time working in the business and precious little time working on the business, let alone their team. And so when a team is able to come together, collaborate, really roll up their sleeves and dig into the work of working on the business, consistently making that business better, the quality, the way they do what they do better and better and better. And they do it as a team that's healthy, meaning open and honest. Patrick Lencioni wrote The 5 Dysfunctions of Teams. Operating a team that trusts one another, that can have healthy conflict together. Everyone gets heard. We fight for the right idea, not against each other. There's this accountability within the team. When all of these things are starting to happen together, that's what EOS brings about. And it's a game changer. I can tell you firsthand. It's amazing.
It sounds magical. It's all the things that we want. And I like how you say that we don't have to throw out a lot. It can change how we do what we do and do it better and make these teams work together and make everyone healthy. And so when someone comes to you and they say, okay, this guy Will, he's an EOS implementer. We need EOS in our business. What's the usual starting point? Have they tried before and failed? Have they just heard of it? Are you bringing something new? What's the usual before picture?
So I'm grateful that there is a lot of awareness of EOS in the business community. So 95% of the time when people are talking to me about EOS, they've already heard about it. Many of them have already read the book Traction. There's millions of copies sold. It's on Amazon, one of the number one business books out there. So a lot of people are already aware of the idea of EOS, and they're interested. And so in that case, what I'll do is just have a short 15-minute conversation with them, kind of understand where they're at, where their pain points are. But the first step in the EOS process is something called the 90-minute meeting, which is not a pitch. It's not salesy. It's educational. It's basically, we whiteboard out for you what are the EOS tools and what is the process and what would it look like for you to go on this journey. And what I love about EOS is that it is a journey in the sense that I typically work with clients on average for about 2 years. And my job is not to embed myself in the organization. I don't create a dependency. I'm not a consultant. My job is to get in there, teach them how to use this tool set, and then get the heck out of their way. They're going to graduate. That's my goal, is for them to graduate and move on and now go run and grow your business on EOS. And that's the process. But the first step, as I said, is that 90-minute meeting. There's over 800 EOS implementers around the world, 850, I want to say. And if you were to reach out to any one of them, that's the exact same thing they're going to do. They're going to set up a 90-minute meeting with you, walk you through the picture, and you decide if it's right for you. If it's not, awesome. Go do what's right for you. If it is, then the next step is to book a focus day. And like I said, it's very prescriptive. It's a very clear set of meetings and agendas for how this all plays out.
Wonderful. So it's even thought through as far as getting the people on board, right? Getting the pieces in place. And then what's the timeline like? Like, say someone says, okay, 90 minutes sounded great. Focus day sounds great. How does that work? And how much time is expected as far as the growing pains, getting the business transformed from a mess to something that works really smoothly?
Yeah, like I said, that's typically a 2-year process, but there's the 90-minute meeting. Coming out of that, we schedule the focus day, which is an all-day session, 7 hours on average, with the leadership team. So the 3 to 7 people who run the company at the top of the company, just the smallest version of your leadership team, typically 3 to 7 executives. We meet together for focus day. 30 days later, we come together for vision building day 1. 30 days later, we come together for vision building day 2. So that's 3 meetings in 3 months, actually 2 months. So day 1, day 30, and day 60. And then from there on, it's just quarterlies. Once a quarter, we get together for an all-day session, and those have clear agendas. And it's brilliantly designed so that the first few days are embedding into the organization a set of tools that create clarity and discipline around in the organization. understanding who is supposed to be doing what, how are we measuring that, how are we structuring the organization, what is the vision and plan for the company, so we're all crystal clear, fully aligned, all on the same page, all bought into where we say we are going and how we plan to get there. That's the foundation. That's what happens in those first 3 meetings. And then from then on, it's all about execution and implementing EOS into the rest of the company. So I work with a leadership team, but so my clients are between 10 and 250 employees. So I'll work with a 3 to 7 leadership team. And then from there, we need to roll it out. So you get everyone in the company crystal clear, all on the same page with the vision and plan. They are disciplined and accountable. We've got measurables. We're making data-driven decisions. We're solving problems at the appropriate level of the organization. So not all the problems are getting thrown up to the leadership team. And that process, getting EOS rolled out completely throughout the organization, takes on average about 2 years.
Okay. And why do you think this works compared to maybe what others have tried or what the other possibilities do you think that it's the simplicity or this idea you mentioned of like getting everything on the same page? Maybe it was like chaos before and vague, and now it's actually documented. Like, why does EOS work so well?
Well, I'll give you 3 reasons, and I'll try to remember all 3. Sometimes I'll say 3, and then I get to the second one, I forget what they are.
Oh, yeah.
The first reason I would say is that it is a single business operating system. So I've grown multiple organizations, companies, and one thing that entrepreneurs do well is just figure stuff out. They'll just see a solution, they'll plug it in, they'll see this, they'll plug it in, they wind up with this kind of Frankenstein business system. What EOS is a single way of operating company. So same language, a unified team, everyone's on the same page on what we're calling things, how we're doing things. So it's a single business operating system. So that's the first key. The second one is simplicity. As you said, the Occam's razor says the simplest solution is invariably the best solution. And EOS is a big proponent of less is more. So always keeping things simple. And the third one I did remember is discipline. It is the discipline of weekly meetings. We have called a level 10 meeting, which is a leadership team meeting that eventually rolls out to the rest of the organization. So everyone is in a weekly meeting that's the right type for them, but there's a clear agenda for that meeting. Keeps people accountable. We review the scorecard. We review what we call rocks, which are quarterly projects, our priorities. Keeps everyone accountable on the same page every week. And that's a heartbeat. It's this rhythm, this cadence in the organization where every week we're solving issues and making progress toward our goals. So one operating system, simplicity, and the discipline to just keep charging forward and keeping everyone on the same page and disciplined.
Well, that's exciting. And when you think about this idea of discipline, it took me so many years to get a handle on it, right? You think about there's motivation and there's discipline. And then many times we fall for that trap of thinking like, oh, I'll just wait to be motivated, which comes and goes. But then if you have scheduled things, you have things on the calendar, you say, hey, here's our agenda. It's like it makes you be consistent. And then when you have these teams, you have different people of different levels of discipline. So if everyone's using that same unified operating system, I can see how it just kind of gets everyone's discipline all working together. But it seems to come down to like people are so tricky, right? People are so fickle, personalities and egos and emotions. It makes things so just all over the place and chaotic. And then you put in these systems and you get a little bit of the structure back. And so I'm curious about what you've dealt with as far as the people problem, right? Getting the teams working together, getting the leadership figured out. What have you seen as far as just people difficulties, especially when it comes to getting these companies in tip-top shape?
That's a great question, Robert. And it comes back to what we call the accountability chart, which is the EOS version of what others call an organizational chart. We call it an accountability chart because we don't use titles. We focus on functions. What do you actually do in the organization? But it's the structure. Who is doing what? Who's accountable for what throughout the organization? It's accountability chart because each seat has one name at the top. So one person, because if in the world of accountability, if 2 people are accountable, nobody's accountable. So one person is accountable for each major function. But what we say is, 80% of evil in an organization comes from the accountability chart, from not having right people in the right seats. So right people, right seats. You got to have both. Right people are just people who fit your culture like a glove. They embody your core values. You love having them around. Right seat means they're doing work that they are talented, that they are genetically encoded for, that they have the DNA. They just get the work. They get it. They want to do the work well. They have the training, experience, and capacity to do the work well. You got to have every person in the accountability chart, or every person in your organization has to, number one, be a right person. They fit your culture, which of course has to be clearly defined. What is that? It's your core values and how they are exemplified in the organization. That has to be clearly defined, first of all. And you have each one of those people doing work that they're great at. And when that's happening, man, the business just starts rolling. It's so much momentum there. In the EOS world, we use something called the People Analyzer, which is just a simple tool that helps you objectively understand how well someone is fitting into their seat and how well they are a fit for your organization culturally. And it just matches people up. And it's not this legalistic, type of thing. It's a thinking tool that helps leaders understand, hey, is this a right person for our organization? And are they in the right seat? Because if you don't, a wrong person is a person who doesn't fit the culture. They might be in the right seat, meaning that they do great work, they hit their numbers, clients and customers might even love them, but there's always drama, there's always strife, there's always something going on around this person that's sucking the energy out of you. That's a wrong person in the right seat. And then the other problem here is that we have someone that's a right person in the wrong seat, which is a person you love having around. You get along really well with them. They're a great person. They're just not consistently great at their job, and they're missing the mark. They're not being great at their work. And that's really tough. But in both situations, I'm going to encourage you to make a change, because if they're a wrong person, man, they're going to kill you in the long run. No matter what you do, it's just never going to work out. And if a right person in the wrong seat, hopefully you can put them in a right seat. In other words, look in the organization. Is there another seat in the organization where their skills and abilities match what you need that role to do? If so, awesome, move them. But if you can't find another seat for them, as hard as it is, I'm going to encourage you to make a change, because as a for-profit organization, you can't have a bunch of great people around just because you like them. They actually have to be producing value for the organization.
That's very logical. And I like how you break down this problem, this huge problem of like, maybe you have someone that just keeps causing drama and what do we do? Or maybe they're just in the wrong seat, and you break it down into saying like, here's these decisions that you can make, and you're like reducing the problem size. And instead of just like, once again, there seems to be a theme here of like, there's the possibility of like winging it and just saying, hey, I'm looking at this situation, let's try this, versus you say, hey, we've got this people analyzer. We can put a label on it. We can figure out what needs to change to make this situation better. And it's always great talking to an EOS implementer, because I learn so much and I get all these little ahas. But I'm sure that when you've been spreading the message, so to speak, right, or you do that introductory meeting, people have excuses, they have objections, there's misunderstandings about EOS. So is there anything that you think is worth mentioning, just as far as the wrong ideas about EOS, or maybe the false assumptions?
Well, I'll nail two of them. The first one is that EOS is something you do in addition to run your company. It's not extra work. It on the one hand, it is, and I'll speak to that. The second thing is it's a ton of work to get this implemented, but EOS is changing how you fundamentally run the business. It's not as if you're going to keep doing everything you're doing. Oh, and we're doing EOS. Now, EOS is now going to be integrated throughout and change the way that you're operating the company. So number one, this isn't something you just do in addition to what you're normally doing. And then number two, it is a ton of work. It's a commitment. It's a 2-year journey. You've got to be all in. This is like, let's not waste each other's time. Either do this or don't do it. Decide what's right for you. If it's right for you, the whole team has to be all in all the way, or go do something else, because you're wasting your time and money. You have to be fully committed to the process.
I like it. And just like the entrepreneurial journey or growing a company, right? You have to be committed. No one said it would be easy, but they said it would be worth it. So you're saying, understand that it's this 2-year journey, and that you have to have your team on board, so that way you can get to the other side of it. And we've been having such a fun conversation, Mr. Will, just about the EOS and systems and what's possible and what you've discovered. But in these last 2 minutes of our conversation, I want to make sure that we cover what you think is important. So in this conversation we're having, is there a missing, hidden, invisible question that I should be asking you? I just don't know to ask you.
Well, I'll leave you with this thought, and it's that everything you need is within arm's reach. Everything you need is within arm's reach. And what I mean by that is that so often as entrepreneurs or leaders, we're always grasping, always feeling like what we need is out there somewhere, just beyond our grasp, and it's not. If you'll just look around, if you'll just sit down and look around, you have the resources, there's time available, there's energy available. There's so much available to you. I think in the US particularly, we have an abundance problem. In other words, there's too many options. And that can be just as challenging sometimes as a scarcity problem, but I don't believe we have a scarcity problem. I think most entrepreneurs have an abundance problem. And that's just comes down to focusing on what is most important, what's the highest and best use of your time. And I'll tie this down with something that I call clarity breaks. A clarity break is when you schedule time, I mean, hard landscape in your calendar, meaning you protect it, you don't get it, let it get pushed around, where you get a legal pad and a pen and you sit and think. There is nothing that replaces pure quality thinking time. When you're able to just sit and think and process whatever issue, there might be something that's on the top of your mind, but no distractions. Turn your cell phone off, get out, lock your door, get out of the office, go to a coffee shop, put some AirPods in, listen to some music, but just think and write. And I promise you, solutions will come, ideas will come, answers will come if you'll just sit and listen to your intuition and write out what's on your mind. And sometimes it's good to have a prompt, a single question. There's a book I really love called The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. And it's basically, it's like a letter from the chairman of the board or advice from the chairman of the board. And it's to CEOs and business leaders. And the whole book is a book of questions you should be asking yourself as a leader. And so sit with one of those prompts, sit with one question and just write and go to town. And I promise not only will you have more clarity, but you'll have actionable things you know you need to put into your, oh, I need to do this. And that clarity produces confidence, because one of the things that's most dangerous is when a leader lacks confidence. You've got to have confidence, and confidence comes from clarity. When you lack clarity, you don't feel confident about what you should be doing, how you should be doing it. So protect your confidence by having clarity breaks. That will help you have take action in the right direction at the right time, know what you should be doing with the challenges that are in front of you.
That's very amazing and wonderful. Just that alone was worth the price of admission. Have these clarity breaks, sit down, no distractions, legal pad, get these prompts, answer the questions, write down, find solutions, so that way you can take some action and get to that confidence, and that way you can proceed with a purpose and get out of survival mode, get out of treading water, putting out fires. There's so many metaphors for this because that's such a common thing. And so we need to reduce and we need to get those decisions narrowed down, and maybe we need some help. So if someone says, man, this guy Will, he sounds like Yoda as far as the business philosophy and the advice. So if someone says, well, I need Will's help because a lot of what he said about EOS is really amazing and positive, and there's all these possibilities. So how does someone know if they're a right fit to be speaking with you, and how do they do that?
Right. Thank you, Robert. So I'll say that, first of all, I work in the greater Tulsa area, but I'm always happy to have a conversation. Go Google EOS Will Watrous. Maybe the link will be in the show notes. Happy to talk with you. I'm a help first type of guy. I'll help you get pointed at least in the right direction, or just go to eosworldwide.com, find an EOS implementer in your area. We're all really well qualified, really well trained, very experienced. I'm very confident in the quality of the EOS community, that whoever you reach out to is going to be a help to you. But yeah, please just reach out. I'd be happy to have a short conversation with you and see what I might be able to do to help.
Very cool. And have that conversation by Googling Will Watrous. That's Watrous. But if you're not in that Tulsa area, you said EOS Worldwide. You find those different implementers and you figure out what's possible, because if you do the same thing, you'll get the same results. Do new and different things, you get new and different results. And it doesn't mean adding more or spending more or hiring more or adding the complexity. You might just need to reconfigure this and make some smarter decisions. But maybe you look into this or you hear about this and you get overwhelmed with all the other stuff during the day. You need an actual live human to help you out. And that person, especially if you're in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, Mr. Will Watrous. And you've given us so much advice here, Mr. Will, especially that clarity break thing. I'm going to be doing, I schedule time for that tomorrow, and I'll be thinking about that for many months from now. But as far as one final last soundbite, because on a podcast, right, we love the reels, we love the clips. So does anything come to mind as far as a fun quote or lesson that has served you in life or in business that you can share with us?
Sure, I'll share one with you, and I'm not sure who said it, but it's change the people or change the people. So if you're a business leader, invest in, grow your people if you can, and if you can't, find people who are willing to be invested in and to grow. So the quote is change the people or change the people.
Ooh, I like that. That's so clever. Change the people or change the people. And let's think about that as we look up Will Watrous to get us implemented with EOS. That's the entrepreneurial operating system. If you're feeling stuck, if your business has hit the ceiling, EOS is a simple, proven business operating system that can help your entrepreneurial organization clarify, simplify, and achieve its vision. So to find out more, Google Watrous, Will Watrous. He's an EOS implementer. And thank you, Mr. Will, for showing up, stopping by, enthralling us with some amazing stories and advice. I really appreciate what you brought. So thanks for being here.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you, Robert.